and I'm trying to re-establish the cross-party group, and obviously Kath will be helping with that. There is a small stumbling block, which is we can't get one of the Liberal MSPs to join, and you're supposed to get everybody, but there is only 5 of them. So it's difficult for them to spread themselves around, I think, all of the cross-party groups. But I'm hoping that we'll be able to operate, that we'll get a buy basically to operate with the people that we do have. Quite miraculously have secured a Tory, so that's good. So part of the reason I want to thank Kath as well is that I was given a really lovely send-off into the election by the cross-party group in a very welcome bottle of Havana Club, and since I'm now back as an MSP, I hope she doesn't want it back. So it was really nice. So I'm pleased to be back, obviously Central Scotland Regional List MSP, but that doesn't stop me in any way from reconvening the cross-party group in Cuba. Over the years, of course, we've raised many issues. I see some of you here that are on the group, and you'll know we've had speakers like Keith Bollander, we've had Steve, we've had the families of the Five, we've had ambassadors, and of course the fascinating Elaine Guevara, which was absolutely fantastic. And I think it is important over the years that we've been able to raise issues in Parliament, and I really do hope that some of the work that we've done has helped to advance the Cuba's global relationship, and also to put pressure on to free the Five. I would certainly like to hope that we've managed to do that. And actually I was really pleased when we secured the members' debate in the last session. It was the first time we'd debated Cuba, and I think we were the first parliament outside Cuba to debate the plight of the Five, so that was absolutely fantastic. And isn't it amazing that they're all now free? How fantastic is that? Obviously, most people in the room know that they were falsely accused by the US government of committing espionage conspiracy against the US, but and actually when I was thinking about this, I thought, you know, they actually languished in US jails for the whole of the life of the Scottish Parliament. That's amazing, because they were arrested in '98, convicted in 2001. So, you know, when I thought about that, I thought, my goodness, all the time that I've been an MSP, they've been in jail. Absolutely horrendous. And of course, their actions were never directed at the US government. Basically, their objective was simply protecting people from terrorism. So it's absolutely brilliant that they're out. And I've long been awaiting the day, as I'm sure you all have, when they would be free and they would come to Scotland. And finally, they're coming, and I'm on holiday. So I really hope that they will come to address the Scottish Parliament at some point over the next 5 years of this session, and in the meantime, of course, we wish them well for the future. It's a really exciting time for Cuba. You'll probably hear more of this from Steve, but the world's changing. The US is thawing in its approach to Cuban-American relations, and I must say I always thought it was rather ironic that the land of the free banned their citizens from travelling to Cuba. But actually, you know, we can be hopeful, of course, but there's obviously still many problems, not least the blockade, and it really is time that relic of the Cold War was consigned to the dustbin of history. It's illegal, it's inhumane, and it has been condemned by the UN General Assembly for the past 2 decades. And we know actually that ordinary US citizens don't agree with it, because poll after poll has found a majority in favour of lifting the embargo and re-establishing diplomatic relations. And certainly the latter is now happening, but the blockade must cease. And I always like to remind myself of when Fidel Castro was in New York in '95 for the UN's 50th anniversary celebrations, and he asked, how much longer must we wait for a world without cruel blockades that kill men, women and children, and the old, like silent atomic bombs? And I think that's really powerful, and this is what we must keep campaigning on, to get this blockade lifted. Basically, of course, the USA has hoped that over the years it's been in place that that this would cause the overthrow of the Cuban government, but that simply hasn't worked. And despite US hostility, despite Cuba being a third world country, despite the blockade, Cuba's flourished, particularly in the fields of education, sustainable development, and also exporting health professionals right across Latin America and the developing world. And again, when I was thinking about what I wanted to say today, I just want to remind us all again of 3 specific points about Cuban children that I always like to think about. And it is that there's almost 120 children of primary school age in the world that don't go to school and not one of them is Cuban. There's 250 million children under 13 years in the world that are forced to work to survive, and not one of them is Cuban. And there's over 1 million children in the world forced into child prostitution, and not one of them is Cuban. So, whilst some diplomatic relations have been restored, there's still a long way to go, and obviously things like Guantanamo Bay must be addressed as well, and that must be returned to Cuba. And one of the issues that we constantly hear about at the cross-party group, and those of you who are on it will know this, is the difficulties in banking. When people in this country are attempting to trade with Cuba or to bank, and actually when I was first re-elected, one of the first motions that I launched, as Steve knows, was about the Co-op Bank's decision to close the Cuba Solidarity accounts. And then after lodging the motion, I received a letter from the Public Affairs Manager who wrote to me giving excuses, and I think also following the campaign by CSC members, Niall Buchan, the Chief Executive, finally confirmed in writing that the closure was due to a risk arising because of the sanctions imposed by the US government. So we have that in writing, that's the reason. And I think it's absolutely absurd that at a time when the US is trying to engage with Cuba, the Co-op Bank is closing accounts of customers here that want to trade with Cuba. It's absolutely outrageous. So what, I mean, actually, I was thinking too, it's an attempt to block initiatives developing between our countries, so cultural exchanges and trade, and actually it really must be fought against, and obviously I'm going to keep up as much pressure as I can on that. And I certainly hope that the government will also take some action about it as well. So basically, I mean, it's an extraterritorial application of the US blockade, which is running counter to our own policies here, so it cannot be told. And I think, what kind of message does that send to companies that want to trade with Cuba, to people that we're trying to persuade? It sends an absolutely terrible message. So we really do have to keep trying to take action against it. And when you think about Scotland, a lot of there was a cooperation agreement signed by the British government some time ago, but some of the things that it was signed for were things like the economy, scientific knowledge, technical knowledge, education, culture and sporting links. A lot of these things are devolved to Scotland, and so I would like to see the Scottish government looking to have a similar agreement in the devolved areas, because I think that could help to inspire more cooperation between our two countries, and I think that that's something that the cross-party group should really be focusing on for this next session of Parliament. I think that would be a really strong outcome from the cross-party group. And of course we can learn much from Cuba, particularly in education, sustainable development and healthcare, and we can share good practice, so it's a really important thing for the group to be focusing on. And if you think about Spain as well, there's university exchange with Cuba. I think that's something that Scotland could be looking at too. The other thing I would really like to do after 17 years with the cross-party group in Scotland is to try and get a delegation of MSPs to Cuba. We have an open invite from the government, but the problem is trying to get the funding to go. Now, I know that the all-party group at Westminster gets funding, and that's because they're considered the sovereign parliament, and we can't get it in our own right from the group that they get it from. I think it's the Centre for Democracy or something, Steve, but we can't get it because we're not considered, because we're a devolved parliament rather than the sovereign parliament. So what I'm intending to do is speak to Kat Smith. Actually, she was up during my election campaign supporting me, so I'm going to speak to her. She's the chair of that group, and see whether or not MSPs could maybe be included in a future delegation, or to explore whether maybe our trade unions might be interested in funding a visit that could include a few MSPs, because I think it's really important to take forward some of these ideas about cooperation and learning from each other. I think it'd be really good if members of the Scottish Parliament could actually go on an official visit. So, basically, I just want to finish by again reminding ourselves of what I usually remind us of, which is that unlike other third world countries, Cuba has no one who's starving, homeless or dying because they can't afford health care. And actually, unlike some countries that are not third world as well, like the US. And the people in Cuba are warm, they're friendly, and that obviously helps to underpin it as a holiday destination. And basically what the people of Cuba want to do, as we all know in this room, is to assert their right to sovereignty and end interference in their affairs by foreign governments. Basically, Cuba shows us all that another world is possible, and it gives socialists hope for the future. So, viva Cuba!